some of the highs and lows and the thrills and spills that we have seen here at Barbagallo Raceway in recent years. And will this be another chapter that we can add to those mighty moments here today? Round 2 of the Shell Championship Series. Mark Scaife on pole for race 1. His teammate Craig Lowndes lines up alongside him. A sensational lap from Scaife. Garth Tanda and Russell Ingall make up row 2.
Jason Barbagallo and Mark Larkham, the first of the Fords, 0.3 of a second behind our pole position man, Longhurst McLean. Good effort from the Greenfield Mowers car. Craig Baird and John Bowe rounding out that quartet of Fords.
Row 7, Paul Morris and Greg Murphy. We go further back, Glenn Seaton and Steve Ellery on row 9. Rodney Forbes in the Wins Racing Commodore row 11 alongside Mark Poole, and Paul Wheel and Dougal McDougall on row 12.
Full grid here, 32 cars in all. Brad Jones, boy, he's having a difficult baptism at V8 Supercars back there in 25th. Anthony Trapp, Thomas Mazira making the trip west, and Mick Donoghue rounds out the back of the grid. Quality field this at Barbagallo Raceway.
This is a 20-lap race, and the cars now making their way around the circuit for the warm-up lap. There's Paul Radisich we saw there a moment ago. Quite high up in terms of the Fords here, but domination, Dick Johnson, in terms of qualifying from the Holden drivers.
Well, it certainly is. I can tell you that they did a fantastic job. You know, they've obviously dominated in qualifying in this particular racetrack for a number of years now. And to see 5 Commodores and then you've got 6 Falcons. So obviously there's a little bit more to be done with the Fords, I'd suggest. Walker
in-car camera. You're riding with Garth Tanda, our championship leader. Drew first blood at Phillip Island in the opener in February. Had a very exciting race at the supports at the Grand Prix at Albert Park, but they were non-championship races. This is the one that counts in front of his home crowd. The boy from WA, just 22 years of age, leading the Shell Championship Series in 2000. Keep your eyes on the Valvoline Cummins car.
Big crowd here at Barbagallo today for race 1 on the Saturday. Of course, 2 races tomorrow, but this should be a beauty. There is Paul Radisich, the Shell Helix Racing Falcon.
How's he feeling, Dick? Is he confident?
Well, he certainly is. Like, Paul's one guy who certainly doesn't need any pumping up, I can tell you. He gives everything 110%. And it's amazing because, you know, sometimes when Paul gets out of the car, he looks like a brown rat, so to speak. But at the end of the day, as I said, he puts in 110%. And it's just a pity we can't put 120 litres in a 100-litre tank.
CUB on board. In-car camera with Brad Jones, the Aussie male Falcon. Made its debut at the Phillip Island opener. And Bradley a lot further down the grid than I guess he would have expected to be. Outside of the top 20. But that just shows how tough and competitive V8 supercar racing is. The toughest touring car championship in the world, without a doubt. 19 cars covered by 1 second. We look at the Ford race analysis. 20 laps the distance, just under 50 Ks total. 32 cars on the grid. And Craig Lowndes has been so dominant here. He has never been beaten in a V8 supercar race at Barbagallo Raceway. Could this be the day that all changes?
3 times he's entered a Shell Championship round here, if you like, and 3 times Lowndes has walked away a winner. He's won 9 races in V8 supercar terms at Barbagallo. There's John Bowe, the Be Clear and Simple onboard camera in the Cat Falcon.
Mark Larkham. That wasn't his surprise earlier on. The Mitre 10 in-car camera. He was actually sitting right up on top of the order in the sessions earlier today, the untimed practice sessions. Got himself a little bit further down the order when the official qualifying was finished. Looking for a strong performance from the Mitre 10 car. Mark Larkham currently sitting 6th in the championship after Phillip Island. So a good points haul will be very good for the Mitre 10 team. There's our pole sitter. A new qualifying record for Mark Scaife. This guy is so quick over 1 lap.
Word from pit lane is that Paul Romano will start from the pits in the Sabco Commodore, and all HRT front row. Green flag being waved, revs rising. We are getting set for round 2 of the Shell Championship Series. Scaife gets away. Lowndes a brilliant start as they head towards Cat Corner for the first time. Look at Larkham, a blinding start as well. And the Ford's trying to come through, but Craig Lowndes takes the lead into turn 1 for the first time.
Yeah, good traction.
Oh, we've got a Commodore going around. That's one of the Kmart cars. I think it's Greg Murphy. He's managed to hang on to it by the looks of things, but all crossed up there for a moment.
32 cars trying to funnel through this very narrow strip of bitumen. Keep our eyes on this difficult situation as they try and sort themselves out. Coming around the back over the hill for the first time. Looks like a relatively clean start to heat 1.
Dick, you talked before about the importance of having a tyre that's going to last a full 20 laps. I think we're going to see just who's made the best, I guess, setup choices with these cars very early on.
Well, it's not only that, it's just a matter of the setup that you got with the car and the way you qualify is just paramount on a circuit like this, because the passing opportunities aren't that great. And what Craig has done here is put in a blinder first lap, and that's exactly how to lead a race here, because you can actually settle down and run your own race.
As Craig Lowndes has proved throughout his career, very, very fast on coal tyres. Look at the Biff and Barge going back in the pack.
That's old Big Kev have another shot at everything, I think, here.
Paul Morris really been in the wars after those races at Albert Park. Squeezes up the inside of the Greenfield. Mowers Falcon. Baird wants a slice of the action too. Bowles going with him. There's one of the Kmart Commodores in there as well. It's tough stuff back in the pack.
Morris lifting wheels in the Big Kev Racing Commodore. There's Craig Baird locking up the inside front left. Baird, of course, the winner of race 2 at Phillip Island. But a little bit further back in the pack in this particular race. Up in front, Craig Lowndes is your leader from teammate Mark Scaife. Garth Tanda in 3rd place, the local guy. And Larkham in 4th at the moment. So they work their way out of Cold Corner and up the hill. Let's take a close look at things. This is Paul Radicic. Talk us through this, Dick. I think one of the Kmart, in fact, it's Russell Ingall there.
It's Russell Ingall. He's getting shuffled out. The moment you understeer a little bit on the first corner, well, I tell you what, you just get shuffled all the way down the back.
So the order now: Lowndes, Scaife, Tanda, Larkham, Radicic, Ingall, Barbagallo, Steve Johnson, Longhurst and McLean. That's the top 10, but the Holden Racing team really getting a squirt on here.
It's a pretty common side, isn't it? Well, it has been over the past 12 months or so.
Well, certainly was a time there when Lowndes had much domination over his teammate on cold tyres in the opening laps. Scaife now obviously working very hard on the setup of the car. He seems to be able to match Lowndes. He's going with him. Look at the Shell Helix race score at the bottom of your screen. Lowndes nearly half a second in front of his teammate Tanda, though. They really dropped the Valvoline Cummins car on 2.2 seconds the gap after only 2.5 laps.
That is amazing, and you can see as they work their way along the straight there visibly how big that gap is. The 2 Holden Racing Team Commodores. Craig Lowndes, the defending Shell Series champion, leads from teammate Mark Scaife. This is the battle for 3rd, and Mark Larkham applying all the pressure to the young gun, 22-year-old Garth Tanda, championship leader at the moment, winner of round 1. Larkham all over the back of him. The enforcer, Russell Ingall, is up there as well. So too Paul Radicic, and Jason Barbagallo just in the background.
I guess a lot of fans will be wondering, Dick Johnson, why is it that a team like Holden Racing Team can come here year after year after year and be so dominant?
Well, when you understand the tyre as much as they do, because they've been on that particular tyre through their, obviously through the life of the car, and they've obviously struck on a setup that works very, very well at this racetrack, and it certainly is sort of showing that today.
Sure is. Big gap, 2.9, almost 3 seconds. Yeah, 3 seconds the gap over this man, Garth Tanda, who is leading a tremendous battle for 3rd place that involves himself, Larkham, Ingall, Radicic, Barbagallo. They're all in there. So the Holden Racing Team taking advantage of this cut and thrust happening behind them. They're opening the gap every lap.
Tanda under immense pressure as he works his way onto the start-finish straight once again. Mark Larkham in the background there, just in behind him. So too Russell Ingall. Look at them climbing the curbs. This is a real freight train. Paul Radicic, Jason Barbagallo, Stephen Johnson's up there. So too Tony Longhurst and Paul Morris as they stream through Cat Corner. And Tanda leads the field.
Yeah, just an indication of his improved form. Garth Tanda, when he came here last year, he qualified 11th and finished 13th overall after the round. Well, he's been on fire in qualifying, 3rd fastest behind the Mobile Holden Racing Team cars, and now he finds himself leading the battle for 3rd. Much improved performance from the youngster.
Up in front, of course, Lowndes and Scaife continue to hold stay. This is the battle for 3rd. John Bowers had a moment there, coming across the top.
I think he's got more than a moment.
Yeah, he's got smoke billowing from the back of the car. He's had some sort of mechanical failure. He pulls off the racing line, so that's a big disappointment for the Caterpillar team. What do you think the problem is there, Dick?
Well, it looks like there's obviously a fair bit of smoke coming from under the front of the car somewhere. It certainly doesn't look as though it's lost a lot of power, but I would suggest it's a sufficiently large enough problem where I think you'll find John will come into the pits.
So John Bow stays right off the racing line, probably pumping out a little bit of oil. The dramas, big battles up and down through the pack, but the lead remains the same. 3.5 seconds.
Rodney Forbes.
Yeah.
Now he's had a moment there, just coming on to the start-finish straight in the Wins Racing Commodore. So no luck for young Rodney. And John Bow.
Great disappointment. The bonnet goes up. That's never a good sign. Any race, but particularly in a sprint round, you've got no chance then.
Well, certainly the way the race format is, he's got to start down the back of the grid next. So, you know, he's got his work cut out from down there, let me tell you.
3.5 seconds the gap that Lowndes and Scaife have opened up over Garth Tanda. So the whole Holden Racing team really monstering the opposition here in the opening heat. There it is, 3.56 seconds the gap. And Lowndes heading for a record 10th race win in a row if he can hold out his teammate.
Plenty of damage there. We saw a moment ago to Cameron McConville's Auto Pro Commodore, the Rod Nash Racing entry, so he's been in the wars early. Look at this, Mark Larkham fighting off a challenge from Paul Radicic as they work into Cat Corner. So Larkham now playing defensive. Ingles gotten around him, and Tanda retains the lead, if you like, in this battle for third place. He's been ahead in this battle for third for some time, because in the distance, the two Holden Racing Team Commodores continue to gallop away.
Well, while the fight goes on for these minor placings, the other guys have just been able to settle down and go and get out and go for it.
There's a closer look at what happened to Rodney Forbes there. Just coming on to the start-finish straight. Dick, talk us through this.
Well, he obviously gets in there and has obviously locked his rear brakes up, and like when you lock the rear brakes, you really it just pivots around the radiator drain plug then.
Looks like stuck in the sand. John Bowe apparently back in the race. Steering fluid leak onto the exhaust system. Maybe something in the engine's pumping out a lot of oil. Apparently they've plugged that gap, so let's hope John Bowe can continue without any more mechanical problems.
See, Ingles got around Mark Larkham, and now he's sort of coming up on the back of Tanda, so this could be fairly interesting.
Dick, when you've got 19 cars covered by a second in qualifying, I mean, the opportunities to pass must be so difficult. Is it just a game of intimidation? You've got to fill up the mirrors of the car in front and try and make a mistake.
Well, you've got to be able to drive quick enough so the guys behind don't exactly run over the top of you, because when they get that close, you start to really sort of press on like Mark is there, and you lock a wheel, you flat spot a tyre, and all you can do is hear this tyre flapping going down the straight. You think to yourself, well, boy, is it going to go bang, or what's going to happen? Because not a good feeling either.
3.6 seconds the gap. Holden Racing Team have opened up 1/10 of a second over Tanda as he holds up this freight train behind him. This battle for third involves a number of top cars. Lowndes a 58.91. Skate 58.8. Tanda a 59. So this is what you said, Dick Johnson, before the race. You're probably going to see the race pace slip out and go a little bit slower.
As they work through Cold Corner.
Well, it certainly looks as though Mark's using fourth gear through there, being down around 5,000 RPM. We'll go up to fifth gear now and sort of run over the top of the hill. So that corner's just so important. It looks like he's covering his line here because somebody's having a shot at him, which would probably be the rat, I'd say. Start-finish line down the turn.
Yeah.
Paul's just got underneath him, and when you get underneath somebody like that, you've got to be very careful that you don't actually get to a point where you understeer yourself off the road and get retaken.
Well, you can see that he was moving over to take a conservative line as he braked down toward pit straight, because Radicic was applying the blowtorch behind him. He got through too, so Radicic moves up another position, puts him up to fifth. Behind that quartet of Commodores, Lowndes, Skate, Tanda and Ingle up ahead of him.
He's now coming up.
Having a go down the inside here on Larkham into Cold Corner, and Barks is through. So in the space of half a lap, Larkham has fallen back 2 places.
He's obviously, his tyres are obviously starting to get soft on the back, because that's the problem. Your actual car setup is so important here.
Let's have a look at the Shell Helix replay of this passing move. Talk us through this, Dick.
Well, Mark got himself up on the curve there and lost a bit of speed coming out of the turn, which allowed Paul to sort of duck down inside him, and now Tanda's looking at having a shot here, but he's too far behind.
In terms of a race pace now, most of the drivers into the 59s. Lowndes a 59.32 last time around. Scaife a 59.16. They are 1 and 2 on the road here at Barbagallo at the moment. Garth Tanda in third place, Russell Ingle in fourth. But Craig Lowndes is holding stay at the moment.
Look at the gap they've opened up on the Valvoline car, though. 4 seconds. Holden Racing Team really rubbing their noses in it at the moment.
Let's take a look at them for you. We've had a
Steve Reed, is it?
Trevor Ashby, I think, has gone off. And Donaher taking evasive action there in the TDK Ultra-tuned Commodore. Craig Lowndes, top of things from Mark Scaife. Garth Tanda in third at the moment. Russell Ingall in fourth. Paul Radisich, Jason Barbagallo, Mark Larkham in seventh. Stephen Johnson eighth. Tony Longhurst ninth. Paul Morris 10th. Can Craig Lowndes retain the lead and go on to win 10 races from 10 starts here at Barbagallo? Welcome back to Barbagallo Raceway. The Holden Racing team 1 and 2 at the moment in race 1 of round 2 of the Shell Championship Series. Lowndes leads from Mark Scaife. Hard luck for John Bowe. He's in pit lane, and the word is he will be out for the rest of this race. There's some sort of mechanical problem for the Cat team, and Bowie undoing the seatbelts.
Yep, never a nice sign. Caterpillar 14, big disappointment for John Bowe. But this is amazing. 4.3 seconds. They're pumping the lead out every lap by several tenths of a second. Just showing the dominance of the factory Holdens at Barbagallo Raceway. But the big interest here is can Scaife topple his teammate, because Lowndes is on a roll. 9 race wins in a row. Never been beaten in a V8 supercar at Barbagallo Raceway. Can Scaife break that this afternoon? Apparently power steering problems persisting with the Caterpillar Ford. We just hear from the pits, so time to put it back in the garage and see if they can fix it for heat 2.
Dick, we're on lap 13 of 20. We can see as they come down the hill here how big the gap is between Scaife to Garth Tanda. What can Garth do about trying to reel these guys in?
Well, the thing is that Garth is not exactly being attacked from behind, so he really has a clear track, but those guys in front are just stroking their cars along to get to the finish, so I don't think he can do an awful lot about it at this point in time.
Look back through the field for you. Mark Larkham coming under pressure now from Stephen Johnson. Tony Longhurst in the Caltex Haviline Ford. There's Paul Morris in the big Kev Commodore. So a bit of a train building up behind the Mitre 10 car. You're looking back from behind Mark Larkham. This is roughly what he's seeing in his rearview mirror.
Oh, no. Problems there. Baird's gone off. So too John Faulkner in the Asia Online Commodore. Now Baird is parked precariously there on the exit of Cat Corner, trying to make his way towards the S's. That's where Trevor Ashby's gone off as well. And
that's a very similar position to that very car was 12 or 18 months ago when it was here.
Don't remind them.
The poor thing.
No, Baird very exposed there, the outside of the circuit. We've seen a number of cars come off on that corner. Lap 14 of 20. So the Pertec Ford is stuck. Now, will we see safety car come out here?
It would be an interesting scenario.
Now the safety car, we've been told, has come onto the circuit. There it is.
So they considered that too dangerous, leaving those cars there. So the cars will come under formation behind the safety car. They'll clear up those wrecks before they return to green flag full racing conditions, which will allow Tanda to close the gap right up on the Mobile Holden Racing Team duo. Monroe's safety car leads them around, lights flashing. Beautifully presented Commodore there.
I think this is just the break that Garth Tanda really needed. And the same with Mark Scaife.
Exactly.
It's going to be a very interesting restart.
So talk us through what happened here, Dick.
Well, look as though he's gone underneath him, and then and Faulkner's obviously understeered out and shoved him off both of them off the road a bit, and they've gone to the beach for a while.
Definitely a collision between the two cars there. Faulkner kept his foot into it though, managed to drive out of the sand, but Baird not so lucky. He got hooked up on the side of the track. Paul Romano on the Shell Helix replay. What happens here?
Oh, I don't think that's the B pillar. That's more like the C pillar.
That's not in the rule book.
I think Paul's going to be visiting a shed up the back.
Now, bear in mind, folks, that the first 5 laps of this safety car period do not count. There's Craig Baird.
Baird into the pits. We've got a problem here.
I would say it would be full of sand.
Got him out of the sand.
All right, we are away and racing once again. The safety car is off, and we have a green light racing again at Barbagallo. Craig Lowndes remains in the lead. We have 6 laps remaining. 6 laps remaining in this one. In second place, Mark Scaife, but things all closely bunched up. Look at Stephen Johnson giving Mark Larkham the hurry up as they exit Cat Turn, and the field stream through the S's now.
That's what you call applying maximum pressure. Great shot on the Channel 10 cameras there, right in. You can just see the rear bumper of Larkham's car flexing under the pressure from Stephen Johnson saying, get a move on. Got Tony Longhurst breathing down my neck. Steve has a run down the inside. He's going to get him under brakes. Oh!
Steve had a look there, and Larkham shut the door, and Longhurst is looking for any sort of opportunity here. Look at Longhurst coming on the inside of Stephen Johnson now. They run up the hill, these two side by side. Longhurst has got the inside running. And some dirt and dust on the track. Paul Morris is in there as well. So too Kevin McLean. Down the hill, Longhurst has got Stephen Johnson. And now out after Mark Larkham.
What happens there, Dickie? Plenty of pressure coming down the hill.
Well, yeah, you know, Longhurst is doing this normal old trick of using every bit of the road, which is normal. With 5 laps to go, it's going to be a very interesting 5 laps.
Well, Garth Tanda got a second win here right up behind car 2. Mark Scape, our pole position man. Lowndes is scampering away like a scalded cat as he tends to do. Now Scape has to contend with the Valvoline Cummins car. Only a few laps remaining in this heat 1. That safety car period has really opened it up.
Tanda right in touch now with Mark Scaife as we count down to the finish of race 1, round 2 of the Shell Championship Series. Lowndes has managed to pull clear of his teammate, but Scaife is, well, under a lot of pressure from Tanda. We hear that Craig Baird has rejoined the circuit. For our Kiwi viewers that are watching through TV1 in New Zealand, I'll be pleased about that. But look at Tanda all over the back of Scaife now as they work towards the start-finish straight. Once again, there's a shot of how Lowndes has pulled out. Have a look at this. Talk us through it, Dick. Stephen applying the thumb screws to Larko.
Well, I think Mark is obviously covering his line very well indeed. And when you go in low like that and you miss your run out of the corner, of course, Tony Longhurst has seen this all happening, so he actually... Well, yeah, okay. We'll pass on that one.
But he managed to back out of it okay. He's got a little bit of damage to the front left-hand corner of the Shell Helix Ford, but he's powering on okay.
Russell Ingall getting a little tailing in the background. The Enforcer currently in 4th place and under a lot of pressure from Paul Radicic. So lots of things could happen as we work towards the finish of this one. Garth Tanda, the 22-year-old, the kid from Western Australia who wants to do big things here this weekend in front of the hometown crowd. Can he get around Mark Scaife? I don't think he's going to be able to challenge for the lead. Look at Tanda trying to make a move here. Radicic's playing defensive with Tanda's teammate Jason Barbagallo, who sits back in 6th place at the moment. We have 3 laps remaining as they come across the start-finish line this time around.
Well, the key thing here too, Dick Johnson, I'm sure you'd be aware that how important it is to get those points, to keep those points coming in. And Tanda sitting back there in 3rd position. It'd be nice to challenge for the lead, but a 3rd place is another big bag of points as he tries to build up a potential championship winning performance.
Well, that's what winning championships is all about, is gathering points while you possibly can. It's all very nice to win races, but to win races and to win championships, you've got to keep finishing.
Garth Tanda, very mature head on younger shoulders. He was a wild man when he came into V8s, but he really has settled down under Gary Rogers' tutelage. And he is now a genuine championship contender in 2000. This is a bit further back. Longhurst just locking the brakes.
Well, that tyre will end up like a 50-cent piece, I reckon.
Yeah. As he approaches the fastest part of the track, 250 kilometres an hour, flat out in 6th gear as they approach this turn, this uphill braking section. There's Cameron McLean in behind the big Kev Commodore Paul Morris. 2 laps remaining. You can see the field strung out behind there. All sorts of battles going right up and down the field in V8 supercar racing, as we've come to know. Oh,
Neil Crompton there and Mark Poole here, the John Deere Racing Commodore battling away. Not a good weekend thus far for the Ford Tickford Racing operation. Seaton currently 16th, and Crompton languishing by his standards back in 21st at the moment. The field stream again through the S's. Larry Perkins in there, both the Kmart Racing Commodores. Our Bathurst winners, Greg Murphy, his teammate Stephen Richards in behind him. But out in front it is Craig Lowndes from Mark Scaife. Garth Tanda sits in 3rd place and throwing out a real challenge to Scaife.
what a way to celebrate his birthday this weekend. Larry Perkins and under fire.
Oh, under plenty of fire here too.
Murphy up the inside, so close you couldn't get a razor blade between them there. Who's going to win the sprint up the hill?
Well, once you get up the inside over there, I think she's all over Red Rover for Larry. And if he's not careful, he's going to lose another one.
Last lap board being shown to our leader, Craig Lowndes. Will he go on to win his 10th V8 Supercar racing from 10 starts? Look at this, though.
How close do you like it? Larry Perkins, the beat in the Kmart sandwich. He's coughing it from both directions.
He might be 50 years of age, but he certainly hasn't lost his
aggressive style, as he knows. Keen to hang on to that position. Here is your race leader, folks, and doing a terrific job. Craig Lowndes from teammate Mark Scaife. Holden Racing Team 1 and 2 on the road at the moment. A very consistent and level-headed performance once again from Garth Tanda. He sits in 3rd, and if he stays there, more valuable points in the bag.
Well, Dick, as you said earlier, there is a real art in qualifying and a real art in racing. Looks like Lowndes has got the edge on Scaife in race trim this time.
Well, he certainly has at this point in time, and when you see the times now, they're really starting to drop off, aren't they?
Yep.
for the final time. Craig Lowndes brings it down the hill. And look at this battle going on here. Radicic and Ingle. Oh, goodness me, there's a bit of contact there between Russell. And look at this, Jason Barbagallo comes along for the ride. Congratulations, Craig Lowndes takes it out from Mark Skate. Third place is Tanda. Ingle under pressure all the way from Barbagallo. And you got to feel sorry for the Rat. The Rat was the big loser in that one.
Well, you're not wrong, actually. That's a pretty dirty play, really, when you look at things like that. There's plenty of room there for two cars. And he was never any challenge, I don't think.
Certainly had the elbows out.
Well, I think, you know, there'll be a tit for tat. There's still 2 races to go.
Long way to go, Barbagallo.
He's got a pretty good rim, let me tell you.
The Rat is back right in the thick of things. 6th fastest. 6th position, I should say, after that little scrap. There's Garth Tanda, 3rd place today. Good way to open his account on home soil behind the Mobile Holden Racing team, but he'll be wanting to be a couple of positions better than that by the end of this weekend.
We'll check him out for you in a moment. Craig Lowndes, your winner from Mark Scaife. There is your championship leader, Garth Tanda. At the moment, 1 at Phillip Island, and more valuable points for him after race 1 here at Barbagallo. Craig Lowndes waves to the crowd. 10 race wins from 10 starts in V8 Supercar Racing. Mark Scaife 2nd, Garth Tanda 3rd, Russell Ingle 4th, Jason Barbagallo 5th. We go further back through the pack. A good job by Stephen Johnson. Paul Morris sneaking inside the top 10. Greg Murphy battling all the way with Larry Perkins. We go further back, Neil Crompton and Karen McConville. What a great start from Craig Lowndes to win race 1.